What's up? We got Arrow, Season 5, Episode 5, Human Target. So this episode starts off with Rene being electrocuted by Tobias' church for information, but Rene will give that information, so yeah. So he's like, what about that time that you got? And he's like, I broke that. I didn't kill the guy, so yeah, or something like that. So with the team, so John finally gets introduced to Rory. For some reason, he has no idea he's introduced to Evelyn for the first time. But when he know who Evelyn is, and she was the Black Canary. Even later in the episode, he calls her a wannabe Laurel Ann. So doesn't that mean that he does know who she is? I have no idea. So Oliver decides to do what he does best when one of his teammates are around. Kick and attack people for information. That's what he does. Oliver doesn't kill them. He just attacks them and says, where's Tobias' church, with doing his best Batman impression. This show loves Batman because it does every time. Every time there's a scene where any character is deep voiced, it's obviously a Batman impression. So Susan Williams is back in this episode, and she and Oliver have some sort of romance. She and Oliver just like each other. That's how it goes. Before I've commented, I've corrected seasons before an Arrow on not knowing how romance works, like season 3 and season 4, doing stuff even though they don't know how romance works. But this season still doesn't know how romance works. Arrow just doesn't. Arrow ships people together, but they don't know how romance works. So Felicity's still keeping her boyfriend Billy Malone secret from the team. Yeah, that's what she's doing. She's keeping her boyfriend Billy Malone secret from the team. Okay. Yeah, Tobias' church has Rene dig up a grave, or his own grave. So that's when the team comes, and Renee's like, hey, I can't remember what happened. And he's like, what happened? He's like, when I told him your secret, he now knows that you're Oliver Queen. So now Tobias, he's like, I can't remember what happened. He's like, what happened? He's like, when I told church who the Green Arrow is, I told him he's Oliver Queen. Now church knows who the Green Arrow is. Which you can't blame on Rene. If you remember in The Flash, Cisco had to save his brother, so he had to give up Barry's identity. Remember that? Oh, season 1 was the best season of The Flash, and it's Arrow, but I'm just saying, The Flash was great. So anyway, yeah. So Renee's kind of having guilt over giving up all of her secrets. So he's so Prometheus is like, hey, you stop attacking Green Arrow. Remember, the Green Arrow's mine. And he's like, oh yeah. And he's yeah. So he's like, you ready to bring one of your psychics? I brought one of my own. And he's like, okay. And he's like, what are we gonna do? And he's like, we're gonna attack the mayor. So, yeah. So this guy just comes out and shoots Oliver Queen. So we're led to believe Oliver Queen's dead. But then it's revealed that Yeah, the guy that Church hired to kill Oliver, the guy he killed wasn't really Oliver. It was a guy who can create masks to turn himself into anyone, called the Human Target. And now everyone thinks that Oliver Queen, the mayor / Green Arrow, is, even Church is now gonna think the Green Arrow is dead. So okay. Yeah, he's like, what's Thea gonna think? Thea's gonna be pretty mad that you kept her out of the loop on your whole having a guy pretend to be you to make you think you're dead plan. And he's like, yeah, so we meet Christopher Chance, Diggle's friend. Diggle met at some point off screen during, yeah. Diggle was like, I know a guy. So yeah. So then he's like, hey Oliver, I heard that Felicity's boyfriend, Billy Malone, has joined the anti-vigilante crime unit. You need to move on, Oliver. It looks like Felicity's moved on to Billy Malone, so you need to move on to someone else. So she's basically like, hey, why haven't you told me about how you're dating Billy Malone? And she's like, because yeah. So Oliver basically makes himself, he's like, I'm sorry guys for making you believe I was all dead, but yeah. So then the Green Arrow has a fight with Church, where they finally put Church to jail. But then that's when the Prometheus shows up, kills the guy that was holding Church in the car, and he's like, hey, I know where the Green Arrow is, and you and I will be only. I did some really cool stuff for you, Prometheus. I know who the Green Arrow is, and you and I will only be the ones who know. And he's like, it's Oliver Queen. Are we cool? And he's like, yeah, we're cool. And he kills Church to end the episode. So, wow, Prometheus. Now he knows Oliver Queen's the Green Arrow. What's he gonna do? And Susan Williams. I forgot to mention, Susan Williams approaches one of her guys who will probably meet, learn more about, and he's like, hey, I know, and yeah, he basically tells her that Oliver Queen has a friend named Christopher Chance, or the Human Target, and he looked into one Chance's OPs and old missions, and he's like, hey, isn't that your buddy Queen in Russia when he's meant to be on an island for 5 years? Yes. Now Susan Williams knows that Oliver Queen wasn't on the island and it's just like, come on. The more she looks into if she keeps looking into Oliver's past with the help of whoever this guy is, she's gonna figure out that he's the Green Arrow. We already have Prometheus now knowing. We can't have Oliver's new love interest figuring it out. This is some bad news. This is some bad news, because now, if she continues to look into our boy's Oliver Queen's past, she's going to figure out that he is the Green Arrow, and we're all. This is bad news. But anyway, that's it for this video. And I'll see you next time for some more Arrow Season 5. This season is starting off to be pretty good. This season is starting off to be pretty good. But anyway, that's it for this video. And I'll see you next time for more Arrow Season 5. As I said before, this season is starting off to be pretty good. But that's also Season 5, what Season 4 had, where it started to be pretty good until it turned into a piece of crap. I hope Season 5 is as great as everyone says it is. See you next time. Pew.